Let's start with Maher. Maher,
الو
كيف الطاقة؟
تمام بومبا.
Good. So a little introduction about Maher. Beside that, Maher sang the opera song for my birthday last Friday. You can see it on my profile. Thank you, Maher, for that. But he's not coming here for opera. I want to introduce Maher in another way now. Maher, we are proud of him because he's an innovator from Lebanon. Maybe you have watched his session with me on innovating your business model. And he also has a patent for him about the innovation model that he created. He's going to talk about it, I guess, right? Maher, you're going to talk about it. So Maher is an international speaker. Maher went to Harvard as a keynote speaker. He has a full page or section in Philip Kotler's book talking about Maher Mezher. That's a pride for us in Lebanon. Maher keeps on traveling. Now in Corona, he's staying in Lebanon safe with his family, but also he's training online. Maher, we are very proud of you. You drove a lot of media to Lebanon with the innovation you did when you were in the banking sector. You had many awards. You spoke on many stages internationally. You are one of the very, very, very few, actually, I guess 3 or 4, who innovated models on how to be innovative in businesses. And I know you travel to companies, you train their chief innovation officers, you train them about how to innovate. Would you like to introduce yourself a little bit?
I think you've done. Thank you very much. That's really kind of you. I think you've done great. There is no need to add more than that. I'm glad to be with you today. I just need to be enabled to share my screen, Andre.
Yes, of course. Go ahead, and I'll give the speaker view so you have all the screen for you.
Thanks again, and I'm looking forward to today's session with you. It's about transforming uncertainty into bright innovations. So that's how we should tackle 2021. We should not let uncertainty freeze our efforts. We should not let uncertainty just sit down and wait till others take the lead and change, because at that moment, we will be too late to move on. So no need to talk. Andre talked a lot about me as a speaker, and I'm proud to be Lebanese. If you need more, you just go to mahermezher.com and you can know more about the methodology or whatever I do. So I have a question for you guys. Do you think we're still in times of crisis? I want you to hit the chat box, and if Andre can share with me your answers. So do you think we're still in times of crisis?
So write it on Facebook, and I will communicate it to Maher. First, Christine is saying, love the title.
Thank you, Christine. Thank you, Christine. We're happy to have you today. It's Christine Francis, I guess.
Yes, Christine Francis. Walid Marwan says, nice to see you again, Maher. Marwa Al-Baba says, yes, of course, for your question.
We are in times of crisis.
Eli Boufaisal, big crisis. Pascal Shidia, yes. Riham Abu Lainan, challenges. Maya Yamin, yes. So I guess everyone agrees we are still in crisis.
Well, the answer is no. We are in times of crisis, but that's not the big challenge, guys. Now that we know what Corona has done and what could be the impact of Corona, as we heard, I was watching, I think CNN or another media station saying that by mid-2021, we will have 30 to 40% of unemployment in the world. So we know probably what's going to happen. What would be the impact of Corona, digital transformation, whatever is happening all over the world. So we're moving out of crisis and getting into a new phase, which is even worse if we do not handle. That phase is chaos. Yes, chaos. And if you see the visual, this is what we call in consultancy spaghetti mode, when things are really in a chaotic situation. If in times of chaos we do not innovate, we do not reinvent, we do not shuffle, we do not change, then the worst could happen. So now we're moving out of the crisis, we're into the chaos stage, and then comes change. If you do the right change, the right decisions, then this crisis will become a chance to improve, to ride, to survive sometimes. So one of the most famous economists, around 50 years back, he said that only a crisis can produce a real change. I remember like in 2012, I was talking to the chairman of a bank. And I was telling him that I did read a book. The title of the book was 7 Days Weekend. So you can work from home. It's like a weekend. The whole week is a weekend. You work remotely. At the end of the day, what really matters is your results. That chairman looked at me and said, I think, Maher, that's a brilliant idea. So I thought that he's gonna really embrace the 7 days weekend concept. And then he laughed and said, you know, Maher, this can never happen in reality in our banks in Lebanon. This is a myth for us. And I asked him why. He said, because people are not disciplined. Okay, you think that people now are disciplined? I believe that people, they are stressed out. I believe that people are more distracted. Their span of attention is decreasing. So why now people are working remotely? Why now people are moving digital? Why now people are abiding by the online rules? Because a crisis obliged them to do so. So what was impossible a few years back is inevitable today. You can't go wrong if you apply what should have been done. So unfortunately, we needed a crisis so people would accept what we and other people are saying. Move to online, move to digital platforms, let people work remotely, give them the chance to innovate, and so on. So then we look at the future. People are uncertain about what? About the future. And what is the future? Can you hit the chat box and say in 1 word or 2 words, what is the future to you guys?
So write us, what is the future?
Just make it simple. You can be inspired by the picture.
You know, Maher, until people start answering this question, a few years ago, I read an article and I loved the main insight of that article. It was what differentiates human beings from any other creature on Earth, in the world maybe, is their imagination. We can imagine the future, we can imagine things, and we can work toward it to make it happen. Other maybe animals or birds or anything, they don't have the imagination. They just have systems. Maybe they work on, like the bees and others, they work on the system and they produce. So we have many answers. Wait, guys. So Christine, it's what we make of it. Chantal, hope. Muhammad, Baidun, an opportunity. Nader Ibrahim, Mazloom is uncertainty. Walid Marwan, final distinction. Maurice Mawad, the future is today, yesterday. Ghada Njem, it's what we do now. Tony Mitri has a mix of planning and luck. Marlene Daher, uncertainty. Elibu Faisal, future is our chance to change.
Excellent. I like your answers, but I like mainly 2 answers. Who said what we do now and what are our decisions. So yes, guys, the future is our actions that we decide to take now. So what we're gonna do now in the coming 6 to 12 months, and the inactions, what we're not gonna do, what we are going to avoid doing. So both will decide what will happen in the future. If we abide by the remote working, the digital transformation, the e-commerce, online automation, then the world will be different than if we resist all these chances. So the story is what you're gonna do through change. We said we're moving from crisis to chaos and from chaos to change. There are people who are gonna take action to change the future, and people in action won't do anything. So if you are among people who want to take actions, how can you grow through change? Let's see what you should do. Before doing that, it is very important to know that with all the change that happened in the world, including the Industrial Revolution, we moved from a job economy to a skill economy. So even if you have a job nowadays, if that media station, the TV, is right about the numbers, 40% will be unemployed. So they will look at you and say, shall we keep you or shall we replace you? So if you are, unfortunately, excuse my language, acting as robots, doing your work as operations, not innovating, not creating, not improving, then you will have a job, not a skill, and then you will be on the list of people that might be fired. So the world changed from job economy to skill economy. I'm sharing 6, they're not the only skills that are high in demand and well paid, but among skills that are high in demand and well paid. So we see digital marketing. Everybody now is on digital platforms, social media, videos, YouTube, you name. Content creation, it's about content, it's about the story, it's about how you impress people, it's about how you attract people to your content, to watch the video, to read the article that you're writing, to read the tweet, and to remember, okay, public speaking, whether it is public speaking, training, or coaching, coding, because we're getting into more of robotics, automation, AI, and so on, data management, everything related to data analytics, and so on, and search engine optimization. I mean, these are only 6, but there are more skills that will be in high demand. What you should do, you should look at your industry and look at the changes happening to your industry, to your division, to your job function, and see what are the skills that are improving and what you should acquire. So as you see these chairs, you're gonna have an open chair welcoming you, or turned on chair saying we don't want you. If you want companies, if you want entrepreneurs, if you want business owners to say we want you, you need to have the right skill that is on demand starting 2021. If we look at the World Economic Forum, we see that they decided, and this is regarding the future of jobs, the report, which is on report of future of jobs, they said that the top 3 skills are complex problem solving, critical thinking, and creativity. The 3 of them, they fall under creativity and innovation. So not because I'm an innovation expert, but that's the reality. Whatever your job title is, you're a head of HR, you need in parallel to have a second job title, which is of disruptor. If you are, for instance, IT manager, you need to have in parallel a second job title, which is innovator, and so on. So what we will have, this is one of the changes that's gonna hit the new normal. We will have 2 titles. One which is our operational title, and in parallel, we will have a second title related to these top 10 skills. Another study by the World Economic Forum shows that by 2025, there will be around 50% of employees that will need reskilling. Reskilling does not mean that you should go back to university. Reskilling does not mean that you should be reborn. Reskilling is attending few trainings, maybe coaching sessions, maybe watching YouTube videos, and then acquiring, asking experts, and applying. So it's not that difficult. You don't have to reinvent the wheel to reskill a human being. And it's a personal development effort. So what is the skill that you need? Andre asked me to share with you, as he did with the other expert, one skill and one strategy that we did apply and it worked out that we can really advise you to acquire. So for me, it's obvious, it's innovation. The skill that I would advise you to acquire, and which is top 3 in the World Economic Forum, is innovation. Now, you come and say innovation. I know that there is a myth that says that only geniuses or artists or executives can innovate. And this is a myth. And this is what my patent is about. Telling people that we are all equal because God is generous. God is beautiful, created us all equals, and gave us creativity as a birthright. Creativity is about coming up with ideas. So what we need is processes and tools, technique, roadmaps that will help us innovate. So one of the methodologies that I'm going to share, which has been, as mentioned now, Andre, the Become an Innovator methodology, which is very simple. One, you work on your mindset. There is a way, but the easiest is, do you have the drive, the curiosity, and the will to change? Are you open? Are you curious? Do you really want to work to make things happen, to know and to change? 2, we provide you with a tool, an app, that will ask you as simple as that, questions in an innovative way, like 3D, 4D videos, interactive music, sound effects, questions that will help you answer these questions. Then we will share with you the result of the research that I conducted on innovators in the world, 4 habits that I'm going to share. And it is the giveaway that I'm sharing with you, so you can keep it, in order to become an innovator. So if you apply these 3 steps, you will 100% become an innovator. So when we say innovation, we are not reinventing the wheel. There is a methodology, steps, 3 steps. If you follow them, you become an innovator. Now let's look at the innovator's habit. I've conducted the research on several innovators in the world, and I came up with 4 simplified habits. One of them is listening and observing. Guys, by listening, but I mean listening, not distracted. By listening and observing, you can capture, you can unlock hundreds of ideas all throughout the span of your life. And then you go, you do your feasibility study, you decide if these ideas are sound ideas, strong ideas, attractive ideas, or not. And then by exploring is about researching, is about defining needs, is about defining pains, is about how people would really use that idea, how successful that would be, okay? How unique, how novel it is. And the 3rd habit is about taking initiative. Innovators, they are doers. Because when we talk about innovation, it's about executing your ideas. So creativity is about coming up with ideas, and innovation, executing your ideas. And passion, because we're going to see in the coming slide that the difference between successful entrepreneurs and innovators is the following. We're going to talk about this in the coming slide. Before I move what entrepreneurs would do successful, A lot of people come and tell me, Maher, we believe that innovators are lucky people. In Arabic, zabatit ma. That's not true. Maybe, very few, less than 1%, they had the chance, the right moment, people who believe in them. But the majority, that's not the path that they went through. So I like this quote that says, luck is when preparation meets opportunity. So the skill that you will decide to acquire, whether it is innovation or any of the skills that other experts are sharing with you, you need to acquire, you need to experiment, you need to apply, fail, and then come up with new solutions. So it's about preparation. In order to be ready, when opportunity will come, you will be ready for it. So luck is when you prepare yourself, when you acquire new experiences, new skills, and then the opportunity comes, you are ready to grasp it. So I was talking about passion, why we need passion. That's the difference between entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs are a lot of people that want to become an entrepreneur. So they have an idea, they plan, they take action, they face problem, they try to solve it, they can't, they fail, and they quit. That's the entrepreneur, people who want to become entrepreneurs. But real entrepreneurs, they have an idea, and it could be a small incremental idea. It doesn't have to be a breakthrough idea. They plan, they take action, they face a problem, they try to solve it, they fail, they try again, they fail, they try again, they fail, they try again, they fail. But then at the end, they solve it. And that's one major reason, which is common for entrepreneurs and innovators, is that they are passionate about the idea. If you are passionate about what you are doing, if you have a purpose, even if you fail, you're going to stand up on your feet and try again, and try again, and try again. Okay? That's the only path to become an innovator or a successful entrepreneur. Now, the question is for 2021. Are you being relevant? What does it mean, are you being relevant? We all know that needs and pain points are changing with the crisis, the chaos that happened, and so on. So what used to be good in 2020 or in 2019 is not good anymore in 2021. So you have to be relevant. If you have a study, if you had an idea that was good last year or the year before, I can tell you, most probably it might not be good enough for our new needs, which are part of our new normal. So we all know, guys, that during a crisis, consumer needs get erased. Okay? There will be new needs. I'm sharing with you an example that happened several years before, but just to inspire you. Are you a cheater? Let's see. They won't tell Andre, even if they are. So Monopoly, very famous. I think they've been in the market for more than 100 years, if I'm not mistaken. They've conducted research a few years back, and they found that 50% or more than 50% of Monopoly players, they like to cheat. If you used to play your Monopoly, you would know now if you would like to cheat or not. So they would say, if I can move 3 more steps ahead, if I can take from the bank 2 more 100 bills, and so on. So they said, if people like to cheat while playing Monopoly, why don't we come up with the Monopoly Cheaters version or edition? So they came up with the idea, and it was a huge success for Monopoly. Now, if you are caught, even in the Cheaters edition, you will go to jail. But the issue is about cheating without being caught. So this is to show you guys that innovation is that simple. Innovation is that easy. What they have done here, they conducted a research to define consumer needs. So it's not only, as we say, geniuses, artists, and CEOs can innovate. Just a simple employee in Monopoly said, why don't we conduct a research? They looked at the result and they spotted the cheaters and they say that might be a good idea. So if you tell me we don't have time to acquire a new skill, this is one of the studies, very serious, conducted, shows that you have around 168 hours per week. Plus or minus 40 at work, now maybe less because we're working remotely and from home. Plus or minus 7 at gym, no one is going to the gym, so we added to the 3 hours. 56 sleeping, who is sleeping these days? We're barely sleeping, so we add, we add to our extra hours. So we have more than 70 to 80 hours left, okay, per week. You multiply it by 4, that's 140, 150 hours per month. So it's your decision to stop wasting time and say, we are in a corona, especially us people who are now from Lebanon. We are in a very chaotic, dramatic, tragic situation in Lebanon. We are, I'm not denying. But if you put that mindset, you will never become an innovator. You will never become a successful entrepreneur. Okay, so it's up to you guys to decide. What's going to happen in the future? Are these robots going to kick us out of our jobs? Is it true? What could happen? So again, one of the studies conducted by the PwC, the EMA, says that around 50%, 49% of companies in the world started implementing AI as a solution and reaping the benefits. Now, when we talk about AI, what could happen to us? What could happen to the future of work? We were talking about skill economy. AI will not replace you. AI will replace people that will refuse to understand what is AI and to use it. Your boss one day will come and say, you are working on a specific system, software, whatever, process. Now we have a new one that has AI. If you are willing to learn, to embrace, and to use the new system, you will not be fired, most probably. But if you are a person that will refuse being open to new skills, then most probably you will be on the blacklist. So again, the decision, guys, is up to you. So yes, AI might eliminate few jobs, but we will always need human beings. You know why? Because AI will give us a dashboard. AI will give us analysis. AI will give us results. But someone has to make a decision and say, now what to do? Now what to do? So someone has to make a decision and someone has to be creative. Think about it, guys. Creativity is the only skill that you cannot outsource. Just think about it. Till now, you cannot outsource creativity. One day we might reach decision-making, automated decision-making, okay? But I don't think in the coming 5 to 10 years, we will reach creative robots. So I did entice you to acquire a skill. Now I should give you like steps or a map to acquire any skill, whether it is a new instrument, cooking, driving a car, new language, whatever it is. Now the formula is the following. First, you acquire knowledge by reading, by watching videos, listening to podcasts, talking to experts, okay, attending a seminar, attending a summit, having a coach, okay, whatever it is. So you're acquiring the knowledge. Then you have to think about it. Guys, all skills are controlled by the brain. Even singing or playing an instrument, it's controlled by the brain. It's not in the emotion, it's in the brain, okay? So you think about it to understand, to assimilate, to imagine, as Andre said, how things can be, what can be, then you have to apply. you have to execute. If you do not execute, you will forget. If you do not apply, you will not learn. And that's where you fail, okay? And then when you start executing, you start mastering. And if you want to fully master a skill, you have to start teaching it. And when you reach there, there is another slide that is more advanced. After that, you can start innovating. Now, if you look at a skill, mastering a skill, the formula is the following. Knowledge, how much knowledge you have, plus hours of applications. So we come and say a good pilot is a pilot that has a minimum of 10,000 hours of flight. It's calculated by hours. They ask you how many hours of coaching you have, how many hours of surgery you have, how many hours of project management on site you have. So knowledge plus hours of application plus initial talent. The initial talent is what has been given to you as a birthright. How talented you are in this skill. So if you are a singer, if you have a voice and you have a good ear, musical ear, then this is what is given. But the knowledge and the application are considered 70 to 80% of your skill mastery. So you cannot master a skill if you don't want to put effort in acquiring knowledge. You don't want to put effort in mastery. It's not a click of a button, guys. You don't just watch a video of 5 minutes on YouTube and you become a master in a skill. It doesn't happen like this, okay? So that's the roadmap that will help you to acquire any skill, not only innovation. If you decide to acquire any skill, and it will be given to you in the giveaway. I'm almost done. Why people are afraid to innovate? You know why? It's because of uncertainty. And that's why I said, and it's written on my first slide on homepage on my website, transform uncertainty into bright innovation. It's because of uncertainty. You know what's the difference between uncertainty and risk? Okay, I'm not going to take more time and ask you to hit the chat box. Risk is a risk that we can calculate, plus or minus. So if my startup idea doesn't work, I'm going to lose my 20K, my $20,000. I'm going to spend 6 months without working. Okay, that's my risk. Uncertainty, we are afraid of it because it is a risk. It is a risk that we cannot calculate it till it happens. Like the crisis. Now we know that people might die. If you take the precaution, you will not get corona. People are dying who already have problems in their health. You can lose your job. You know what this risk as COVID could do. But uncertainty is a risk that we cannot calculate. So I can show you in the innovation life cycle that when you kick off your idea or you start working on it, the level of uncertainty, which is the green part, is big. Then when you start the application, the level of uncertainty starts to diminish. And when you put it on the market or test it as a prototype, the level of uncertainty is almost close to 10% and then goes towards 0. So if you are afraid, kick it off, and with time, you will discover if you need to invest more or not. What we need to embrace uncertainty is courage. And you know, what is the best way to start a project? What is the best way to start a project? Is to start. So by starting something, you will kill the uncertainty. You will kill the doubt. You will kill the anxiety. And then you will decide. You might stop, but don't sit down worrying and overthinking, being overwhelmed. So we need to build courage by making, by doing things, by taking actions. Innovators are called experts, okay? They call us experts. So my challenge question to wrap up the session is, now that you know that you need to acquire a new skill in the skill economy, What are you going to do? To shift your mindset, to decide that this time is a time of acquisition of a skill. This time is a time of growth. What are you going to do to upgrade your skills? And what are you going to do to take action? Transform your life, rethink your business, and reshape your future. My final recipe for you is innovate or evaporate. Thank you.
Thank you, Maher. That's your tagline always, innovate or evaporate. And you gave us a lot of insights during your session. I really thank you. The one important question for everyone, other than your challenge, of course, how can I stay relevant? It's very important. And it's always my advice for entrepreneurs. Whenever they have a new idea, a new service or product, how relevant is it? And how can I also stay relevant as on a personal level and also on a professional level? Thank you, Maher.
It was a pleasure.
Have a great night.
Thank you.
Bye. So give me some thumbs up in the chat box if you had some value from Maher. I know I always get value from Maher. Like, he's an innovator and he's always bringing value. So show me some thumbs up in the chat box. I can see many are saying thank you, great job, Maher, thanks a lot, perfect. Rich and provoking, Tony, Ziad, thank you, great.